The intention of this video is to show people a progress of what's happening with me. I know a few people are interested. Back in 2014, well, first of all, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I didn't follow a very good diet, although I didn't know that at the time. But that was a long time ago. My sister became a diabetic and tried to convince me to go low carb, and I was through the ringer. I mean, I went 30 years doing this and failing, and I didn't think there was any hope for any sort of control, that kind of thing. So anyway, I kind of dismissed it and said, nah, it's not going to work. She persisted and put a couple of things towards me that said, hey, and how is that working for you? It wasn't working for me. So I took her advice and looked into a lot of options and to figure out what this low carb would do for me. And I basically followed a couple of different venues, if you would, of low carb. I looked through Atkins. Atkins was a great doctor talking about low carb, and Dr. Bernstein. Dr. Bernstein was a low carb advocate with a very specific course of treatment for diabetics, especially insulin management. But the low carb diet was essential. So anyway, those two doctors had a big effect on my life, and along with my sister, that changed my whole thought on what I needed to eat, how it is important on eating, and being able to take care of my blood sugars better and that kind of thing. Anyhow, okay, I changed to a low carb diet, and I had normal cholesterol numbers, LDLs, HDLs, triglycerides. They're all pretty much textbook. They look normal, like everybody else's. I changed my diet. My blood sugar got better. My A1C before changing the diet, was somewhere around 6.5, and I changed my diet. My A1Cs went to the lower 5s, generally around 5.2-ish, and it's been as low as 4.8 since I've become a diabetic and was checking that kind of thing. But the thing is when I changed, big thing happened. My cholesterol numbers went way high. It went from, I'll give it, the last one I had was November 2013. My LDL-C was 68. I changed my diet in March. Of 2014. And the first LDL I got back was 314 after I changed to a low carb diet. And of course everybody flipped out about it. The doctors flipped out about it. I'm killing myself, even though my A1Cs went down from around 6.5-ish to lower 5s at that point. And I was puzzled. I said, here's the thing. And over the course of about 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, a lot of things happened. I felt better. Before I changed the diet, I couldn't get through mowing my lawn mowing my lawn was a 2-day job. It was a 2-day job to mow my lawn. I had to talk with my kids saying, hey, I don't know if I'll be able to do this much longer. I've got a 2-story house. I couldn't take the stairs without being winded by the time I got to the top. And I only had one bathroom, so I had to go up the stairs. It was a long, arduous task just to complete that, just to get up the stairs. And that all changed when I changed my diet. My blood sugars got better. I wasn't exhausted all the time. I felt better. Now I can mow the lawn and I'm like, okay, do I have time to do something else? I want to get something else done today. It could happen. Before, no way. Wasn't possible. I wanted to basically stay in bed all the time. I didn't want to get up. I had to drudgingly go through work and go through my day and barely survive. I felt bad. But of course that all changed when I changed my diet. I was amazed. And the bottom line is that the doctor's nurse practitioner at the time recommended I go for a coronary artery calcium scan. Since my cholesterol is so high that I'm causing damage to myself, I'm giving myself heart disease and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, ridiculous. There's no way that I'm progressing at heart disease when I feel better, I'm doing things, I'm awake. I don't know, life is important now. Before I was depressed. It was horrible. I was thinking every time I woke up, you mean I'm still alive? That's how I felt. It was terrible. Anyway, back to my endocrinologist's nurse practitioner recommended that I go for a coronary artery calcium scan. And I said, okay, that sounds prudent, because I had done a couple of interventions trying to figure out what caused my blood cholesterol to go crazy, and I could not figure out what to do. Nothing would bring it down. The only thing I wouldn't do is go back to carbs and a lot of fluctuation of blood sugar and that kind of thing. I wouldn't go back and do that. So anyway, I got a coronary calcium scan, and my score was a 22, which I was 43 at the time. It was in 2015, June of 2015. And they wanted me to take statins, and even to a point where they was wanting me to do this new PCSK9 inhibitor. It was a PCSK9 drug. Anyway, just to get my cholesterol down, because that's doing damage to me. Even though I felt better and I was getting along better, I was doing whatever I needed to do. The bottom line is, I got that score 22, which was at the time, you're not supposed to have any score at that age. So it's the 75th percentile at age 45, and I was 43 and I had 22. So I don't know, being pig-headed or something and sticking to my guns, because I looked and I did all the research, and the bottom line was lower insulin is beneficial to you. And my insulin levels were at the bare minimum a third of what they used to be. And that's a good thing. but everybody's convinced, nope, that cholesterol number is too high, too scary. Anyway, it was 2014 is when I changed the diet to low carb. 2015, I got the scan, the calcium scan. And now it's 2018. And I'm going today for a follow-up coronary calcium scan to see if there's any progression, or if it stayed the same, or if it's regressed. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll look at the data. The data is the data. Will it go up? Now, Ivor Cummins, he has a lot of stuff on YouTube, and he wrote a book. I bought the book. It's a very good book. He has a lot of research talking about how coronary artery calcium scan is important for progression of it. Sees the disease. It's not some obscure marker like cholesterol numbers, which is flippant. It can change. This actually sees the disease. So it's important to be able to get one of those and to follow it to see if there is a progression, if that's necessary or it needs to happen. And since everybody thinks, the mass majority of people think that high cholesterol number automatically means you're advancing yourself for heart disease and stroke and that kind of thing. Even though my insulin went way down, no, it doesn't matter because my cholesterol went way up high. It was important. I don't know. I guess the bottom line is it seems inconceivable to me that number would increase by more than 5% a year. Now, Ivor Cummins says that 5% a year is optimal or ideal. So 2015 it was 22, 2018 if it's 26, it's still ideal. But we'll see. I'm going to get it done today. I know other people that have gotten this scan, and theirs actually have regressed after they changed their diet. So their calcium score went down, and by significant numbers. I'm hoping to follow suit. I don't know if it will happen. Like I say, I got to see the data. I'm data driven, and what it is what it is. I made a deal with my new endocrinologist that I have now, and said I would see a cardiologist if it went up 15%, which is that Ivor says that 15% is where it needs to be addressed, and intervention is important. But I followed all of his basic interventions by cutting out the omega-6 oils, omega-6 fats, and I have very low insulin. I don't think kids don't take as little insulin as I take. I have to dilute insulin because I can't get normal blood sugars. My blood sugars fluctuate too largely with a half unit insulin. Half unit insulin will knock my blood sugar down by 25. I can't do that unless my blood sugar is going to be really, really high all the time. And if I want to do something, if I can make my blood sugar anything, I want it to be normal. What diabetic doesn't want their blood sugar to be normal? Every diabetic wants their blood sugar to be normal. It just seems like it's too hard to do. So, anyway, I've cut my insulin. I only have healthy fats in my diet. Healthy fats being butter and lard and coconut oil, that kind of thing. I eat eggs every day. Eggs is one of the most perfect foods from the way people. I know that the vegans and the plant-based people say, "Oh, that's terrible," but the thing is, they don't believe you're supposed to burn fat, and that it's a dirty fuel. That's that secondary fuel. But the thing is we're supposed to eat meat. We're meat eaters by nature, and that's the way to get better blood sugars. It's a more natural diet for the humans, and being a type 1 diabetic is very difficult with insulin regimens, no doubt about it. But the bottom line is, I'm getting a scan today. Let's go back to this. I'm getting a scan today. We'll see how it works out, and if it's bad, I will see a cardiologist. If it's progressed 15% a year, I will see a cardiologist, which is, I think it's like 33 or 35%, or 33 or 35. A score of 33 or 35. I don't have that figure in front of me, but that's pretty much what it's going to be. If it's that number, I will schedule with the cardiologist. That's kind of the deal I made with the endocrinologist. Now, somewhere in between, it's just something I got to evaluate. Is it necessary? Is it important? I don't know, but the point is, it's not a marker. The coronary artery calcium score is seeing the disease. And when I got it back in 2015, it was 22, and there were 3 lesions. There are 3 lesions in my left anterior descending artery, and nothing anywhere else. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it looks like. And I guess we'll see what the comparison is probably next week. Even though I'm getting a scan today, I'm sure I won't get any data or anything or report until sometime next week. Hoping for the best. We'll see how it happens. I'm probably going to do something on Instagram too. You can follow me on Instagram. It's bill.graves.790. I don't know. Like I said, I just thought I'd share that video. My LDL cholesterol for the last year that I've looked up has been over 600. No, over 500. Over 500. The highest it's been is my LDL-C was 567. Now, normal is typically 100 or less, and they want diabetics to be 70 or less. And my highest was 567. Last one I got was 551. So, and as far as particle counts go, LDLP, ever since I've, for the NMR lipo panel profile, lipo profile panel, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Has been over 2,000 since I started and checked. Over 2,000. Over 2,000 is like the 99th percentile. And mine's been that way. Although my small dense LDL, bottom line is, my small dense LDL doesn't make it to the page. Doesn't make it. It says less than 90, which doesn't make it to the page. But my LDLP is greater than 3,500. It doesn't go up that high. It's over the amount. I don't know if I should call myself fat man or what, because I'm traveling around those lipids. Now, if I had a lot of small LDL, from what I understand, those are the ones that hang around in the bloodstream for a while. Mine aren't. Mine are being churned over by the liver really quick. So, and I've got particle after particle after particle. They're just continuously nonstop circulating around in my blood system. And I always, from the beginning, thought I must be just using fat for energy, and it's metabolizing fat. Most people don't believe you're supposed to metabolize fat, but that was the only thing I could come up to. I know Jimmy Moore had that problem, or that issue, I guess, where he had his cholesterol numbers shoot through the roof, and he was like, I don't know what's going on. He's metabolizing fat, is what it is, either from exogenous eating fat or endogenous from his own fat stores. And it's the same thing with me. And I looked over his stuff and never came up to an answer. Dave Feldman is another guy. Dave Feldman had the issue nowhere near where I was, but he is a order of magnitude higher than where I would ever get to do the research and to figure this out. Hats off to him, because he's pioneering the whole, what does this mean? Is this important? Why doesn't anybody ever looking at this? I can't say enough about that. So look him up, Dave Feldman. Dave Feldman for these high cholesterol trafficking, that kind of thing, for the fat energy metabolism. Look up Ivor Cummins. Ivor Cummins talks about low insulin. He is a great source for looking at the root causes of cardiovascular disease. And I just have my own personal experience that I'm throwing in, and people might be interested in following. So I'm getting my follow-up scan today. Next week I should have data and details, and maybe I will have a follow-up to this video with the expressions and what I think and what I'm going to do from now on, and if I'm going to change anything, or will I not change anything at all.